When you think of a demolition before the remodel, the home and garden shows will usually show you something like this. This makes for great television, but a poor demolition process and very angry trade workers. If you want to save yourself the headache of replacing the entirety of your drywall and finding debris weeks into your remodel, you might want to watch this video. We will be going over the critical mistakes that might literally cost you an arm and a leg.
So were you like in an accident or what?
And the things that are crucial for your success as you start your kitchen remodel. Be sure to watch till the end because every single one of these tips is important. And if you skip any of them, it could cost you thousands of dollars or worse. In general, the kitchen demo process is as simple as prepping your kitchen for demolition, removing the cabinet boxes and countertops, and cleaning up to set up for the new kitchen. But before we go over the steps, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and drop a comment below. The first two tips are just some reminders. First is shutting off your utilities. This means electrical, water, and gas. Any circuit breaker tied to the kitchen, off. Any plumbing lead into the sink or dishwasher, off. Any connection to a gas stove, off. One way to shut off your power is to stop paying your electric bill.
I can't pay electric bill.
But the better option is to turn off the circuit breakers. Sometimes appliances will even have their own breaker, so be extra careful to be sure that you're turning off all the correct breakers. Use an outlet tester or a multimeter if you have to ensure there's no power going to the outlets. To shut off the water, you can locate the home's water main and turn off the main valve. However, if this is not practical, turn off the valves that feed the sink and the dishwasher. Lastly, with gas, locate your gas valve and make sure that's closed off. The last thing you want is to own a home that's one match away from game over. The second tip is knowing how to prep your kitchen space for demolition. This boils down to 3 steps. Emptying all the cabinets. This means pots, pans, dishes, and Tupperware systems you swore were perfect for meal prep. Removing all appliances. Lastly, any barriers to block off other rooms need to be set up so you don't get dust for the demolition process into the other rooms of your home. Moreover, if you want to protect your floors, a couple layers of cardboard and some tape to hold them down go a long way. Now we can move on to what to do about the cabinets. Tip 3 is you should be going from top to bottom, because if the wall cabinets fall, they'll hit the base cabinets first instead of your foot, or worse, your head. You want to start with the moldings, then walls, then tall cabinets, next to countertops, and finally the toe kicks of base cabinets. Removing the tall fixtures gives you just a little more room to get rid of the countertops. But this isn't a hard science, so use your best judgment. If you see any caulk lines, you want to cut those with a utility knife. Unscrew the hardware for the cabinet doors and drawers if you want to reuse the hardware. Otherwise, do what you want with them. If you can remove the doors and shelves, you should do that as well before taking down the moldings and carcasses. Speaking of moldings, you should peel those away with a 5-in-1 or pry bar before you start taking down boxes, but after you get the doors down, so you don't ding up the doors just in case. We hinted at this tip before, but no, you don't want to use a sledgehammer. We know you want to get the hammer and go to town, but it is much safer to just unscrew the cabinets, one screw at a time, and go slow to take them down. Sometimes cabinets will have stickers to cover screw heads, so you can pop those off with a utility knife and then unscrew them from there. So cabinet pulls, 2x4 stands, or an extra pair of hands from a friend are highly recommended. Tip 5. Some homes have larger cabinets with multiple doors and carcasses that extend across an entire wall. Any larger cabinets you want to cut in half or into smaller pieces, especially with wall cabinets, because they will be awkward and heavy otherwise. Use a Sawzall to cut them down. Just be sure to exercise caution and again, take your time. No sledgehammer. Tip 6. Know how to handle your countertops, backsplash, and flooring. For countertops, you really only see 2 types. The first is some sort of stone or solid surface, like granite, quartz, or corian. And the second type you'll see in a kitchen are wood or formica. Stone and corian tops are heavy and hard to remove, so if you can outsource the removal process, do that. Otherwise, you will need to remove the caulk between the stone and cabinets and get some help with the heavy lifting. Mica and butcher block tops are usually screwed in from below, so it's best to remove the doors and drawers from the base cabinets before removing the screws that hold the countertops. Tile flooring and backsplashes are hard to preserve, but if you don't plan on keeping those elements of your kitchen, a hammer and chisel or tile chipper and some sort of crowbar, pry tool, or 5-in-1 can be used to remove it. Wood floors, they can be removed one panel or plank at a time, with a crowbar. Keep in mind that you don't know who last installed the cabinets, even if that person was you. The test kitchen that we're demoing is used to train and eventually test the knowledge of our new installers. And while it might have looked very nice, we still found some mistakes and hidden extras in the demo process. And frankly, no matter how you dismantle your cabinets, there will always be an element of surprise.
Surprise,
This means finding cabinets that were never secured to the backing and relied on the adjacent cabinets for support. This is especially common with stacked uppers, where the top level of uppers might be reliant on the bottom level of uppers for support. This also applies to narrow cabinets that are located between two studs, since they rely on the support of the cabinets next to them. This could be also finding extra screws, nails, or glue in the moldings, making the moldings harder to peel off. Or you can find extra debris or screws left over on top of your cabinets that you'd never find before doing the demo. Just be prepared for anything, and once again, move slowly and carefully. So here's a bonus tip. The last step is preparing your drywall for the new kitchen. You're going to want to prepare your drywall, and that process is dependent on how clean your demolition was. Before you even begin patching drywall, mark your cabinets on the wall and see if any mechanicals need to be moved. This is electrical, plumbing, and gas, and we strongly recommend you outsource this to a contractor. Once that's done, you can move on to filling your holes in the drywall. For small holes, you can get away with just throwing some mud on the wall and smoothing it out with your drywall knife. For holes that are between 2 and 8 inches wide, we recommend what is called a California patch, which is where you cut a square around the hole and replace it with a separate drywall patch, allowing the paper around the patch to overlap the hole. And of course, mud the perimeter of the square. Anything larger than 8 inches, you will need to add some wood backing and screw the piece of drywall into the backing. After you tape your patch, add mud. Then it's just a matter of sanding, priming, and painting. And from there, marking the boxes on the wall to prepare for your install. I know we said no sledgehammers, but to boost watch time, we thought you might want to see someone turn a cabinet into sawdust. So here you go. If you like this content and want to see more, be sure to like the video and subscribe, and drop a comment below. If you'd like to learn more about kitchen installation as a career, or if you'd like to train new installers as a trade business, please check out Cabinet Bootcamp, available on our site link below. Thanks for watching, and keep building.